Doesn't it strike you guys as ironic that the NFL, the almighty, great and powerful NFL, which of course is always worried about the integrity of its game, could possibly allow what happened in the Dallas Detroit game on Sunday? I mean, I'm still 2 days later wondering how can that possibly be? I mean, listen, there's absolutely no sense, no logic in the fact that why you have the NFL and the NFL Referees Association having an agreement where you have like these all-star crews of referees in the postseason based on their individual games performance during the regular season instead of having the crews, the teams of referees that have worked all those weeks prior, continuing to work with their normal crew members in the postseason. I mean, that's just ludicrous. I just don't understand it at all. I mean, it's almost like telling me that you're going to find better play in the Pro Bowl game than you will in any regular season game because we've assembled a group of all stars. So that's almost malarkey and baloney to begin with. Okay. So you have officials and referees that may not have worked with each other in the past, and suddenly you're asking them, hey, that line judge over there, you want him to do just as good of a job with that total stranger that's the referee over there. I don't understand that anyway. But then you got to wonder. I mean, this is a league that, is always allowing its head coaches to challenge certain calls. It's always looking at whether or not somebody got into the end zone or not. When they take a look for 7.5 minutes at 18 different possible views to see whether or not the guy's knee was down at the 1 inch line instead of just giving him the damn touchdown because he's going to score it anyway. Instead, they'll put us through that agony. But you tell me that nobody from the NFL office couldn't have just whispered in somebody's ear and said, hey, will you tell them to maybe think twice about picking up that flag? I mean, that's the integrity of the game. Because when you and I, as Joe Q Public, we can sit there as long with every single fan sitting there in that stadium. I don't care if you were a Cowboys fan or not. Come on, you got to be honest with yourself. That was such a flagrant call. I don't care if you want to call it holding, you want to call it pass interference. Hell, you could have gone ahead and thrown the flag on Dez Bryant, who, Dez Bryant, of course, coming out to argue the defense's stand with his helmet in hand, coming onto the field. Oh, Dez, that's a no-no, Desi. But still, it's the integrity of the game. Similar to how we certainly can't have the state of New Jersey have sports betting because that would affect the integrity of games. Yes, because, us handicappers and us gamblers out there, you and I both, we affect the integrity of the game. Such bullshit. Oh, did I say a bad word? Oops, I should have warned you. Kind of like in that movie, Old School, where Vince Vaughn tells his little kid, earmuffs, earmuffs. I should have given you earmuffs warning in advance, but something tells me that you're going to be okay and you're going to be able to move on, and I'm not going to cripple you for the day. Hi, everyone. Al DeMarco here, and this, of course, is going to be your Monday video report. Let's talk about the hottest handicapper at this site right now, bar none, and that would be, of course, Gabriel DuPont. Another max wager play going today. 100 dime winner number 10 out of 11 in all sports over the past 6 weeks. His 2015 Big East Game of the Year in Villanova and St. John's. Of course, Villanova coming off its first loss of the season, getting upset, which I don't really think it was an upset, really. I mean, against Seton Hall. Meanwhile, St. John's now back full strength as perhaps their key player has returned from attending a family funeral. Save $70 on this play tonight because it matches last night's 100 dime dog of the year when he gave you South Alabama an 8.5-point underdog, winning outright over Arkansas Little Rock by 3. You got that one at a huge discount. Same thing goes today. Save $70 by using the coupon code EAST. EAST, because it's his Big East Game of the Year, and I can do that. $10 bettors have made $7,200 over the past 6 weeks, and by the way, this is over 3 times stronger than that 30-dime winner on the Colts Bengals under that you got on Sunday for just $9. Moving on, Scott Delaney, another equally hot handicapper, going for winning day number 10 out of 11. $10 bettors have won $7,300 on all sports combined over the past 8 weeks following his betting advice. They've won $4,695 of that total the past 10 days. And today, 59 Big Ten game of the month, Ohio State and Minnesota matches his 50-dime winner last night on the Mavericks. Bigger than Sunday's 40-dimer on the Lions Cowboys under. You save $77 and get it for just $22 by using coupon code, are you ready? Scott22. Scott 22. Let's get to your free selections. Yesterday, 2-0 sweep with the free plays as I gave you winners who on the Chicago Bulls, who needed a monstrous rally in the fourth quarter. 31-15, they outscored the Rockets in that final frame to get the win and the cover against Houston last night. And then I also gave you an easy free winner on William and Mary. I told you Drexel was shorthanded, only had 8 players, and William and Mary just went on a phenomenal run to start the second half and buried the Dragons last night. I wish I had used one of those two teams as my best bets, because instead I had 2 small plays on the Celtics and the Indiana Hoosiers, and well, we know how those two teams turned out last night. Listen, for tonight, it's not a great card. Obviously, nothing going pretty much in the NBA. In college basketball, though, I'd be willing to lay the 15 points with George Washington tonight at home against St. Louis. Listen, these are not the same St. Louis Billikens that you saw a year ago. This is a team that is struggling, a team that doesn't play a lot of defense, doesn't have much size, and really doesn't have much offensive firepower. This is a very good George Washington team. Do not be deceived by their 64-60 win at St. Joe's on Saturday. They were up like 20-some points in that game in the first half before relaxing and letting the Hawks make an aborted comeback bid. Their only losses this season came against Virginia, Seton Hall, and Penn State. How they lost to Penn State, God knows. I mean, it's not that Penn State is a bad team, but George Washington, to be honest with you, is better. Billikens coming off a 65-53 home loss to Rhode Island. Before that, they lost at home 70-55 to Vanderbilt. This is their first road game since December 6th, when they were crushed by Wichita State 81-52. So I'm willing to lay the big points with GW in this game. The other game I like tonight, listen, until Kentucky shows me otherwise, I'm willing to lay 22 points with them at home. I'm a little bit concerned that this is going to be their first game since winning at Louisville on December 27th. But when you got the number 1 team in terms of scoring defense, giving up just 47.8 points a game, the number 1 team in the nation in terms of their field goal defense, holding foes to just 29.7 points, or 29.7% from the field this season, I'm willing to roll with them at home tonight as they get back in action in SEC play against a Mississippi team whose last road game resulted in a 78-74 loss at Dayton. And listen, they were down by double digits for most of the second half of that contest. So I'll go with Kentucky. I looked at the Cincinnati-East Carolina game as well. And listen, I might as well just tell you about it anyway because I handicapped the damn game. You know, Pirates last game, they lost to South Florida 58-50 on Saturday. And they lost at South Florida, so the game was outside in Tampa, or down in Tampa. South Florida had lost 7 of its previous 8 games before beating East Carolina, which should tell you something about the Pirates, right, in this game. And their previous game happened to be at home last Wednesday when they lost outright to Tulane 67-58. They also went on the road December 20th at NC Wilmington, lost that game 66-54. They lost at North Carolina, but hey, that's to be expected. They got hammered there by 34 points. But they also lost at Florida Atlantic by 9 points. Cincinnati played a very tough game Saturday at home against SMU. It was a virtual pick'em game. They managed to win the game 56-15. It was a very emotional game, too, because it was announced within 24 hours before tip-off, I think it was sometime on Friday night, that their coach, Mick Cronin, would not be returning for the rest of the season. Now, he missed the previous 4 games, so they really came out, and it was an emotional game for this team that was coming off a big road upset of NC State, hammered the Wolfpack down in Raleigh by 16 points. Here's the thing. Cincinnati is a 15-point favorite, okay? All things being equal, and being at home, Cincinnati is definitely better by 15 points in East Carolina. Problem here is that after that emotional game against SMU on Saturday, and considering that this is a Cincinnati team that rebounds pretty well and is a good defensive team, but not exactly an offensive juggernaut, you got to wonder if they'll be able to extend the margin here. Now, granted, I just told you East Carolina stinks, okay? But I just couldn't pull the trigger on either side of the game, so I can't really endorse you to lay it with Cincinnati for the reasons I stated, nor am I going to really want to be on the other side and grabbing East Carolina, a truly bad team, plus 15. So, hey, at least I laid it out there for you. You have to make your own decision on that one. Again, my free picks, I'm going with GW and Kentucky. Best of luck to you guys, and I will catch you again on Wednesday when we do this one more time.